What was your first impression of me when we met? That's a tough one to ask.
I thought, oh my God, she is so easy on the eyes.
Oh.
Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the glamorous world of Pamela Anderson, her iconic lifestyle, jaw-dropping earnings, and the latest buzz-making headlines. If you love Hollywood's sparkle and real-life star power, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss the shine. Let's get started. Born Pamela Denise Anderson on July 1st, 1967, in Ladysmith, British Columbia, Canada, Pamela grew up in a modest working-class family that would eventually become the unlikely foundation for one of the most iconic pop culture figures of the 1990s. Her father, Barry Anderson, worked as a furnace repairman, while her mother, Carol Anderson, was a waitress. The Anderson family later relocated to the town of Comox on Vancouver Island, where Pamela spent the majority of her formative years surrounded by nature and a sense of small-town simplicity. Pamela's early life was shaped by both hardship and resilience. She was known as a curious, athletic, and often shy child, one who gravitated toward outdoor adventures and sports more than the spotlight. Despite a challenging home life that included periods of instability and emotional strain, Pamela developed a strong sense of independence early on. These formative years instilled in her a toughness that would later serve her in the hyper-scrutinized world of celebrity and entertainment. Her upbringing wasn't one traditionally geared toward the arts or fame. Still, Pamela's natural beauty, height, and charisma began drawing attention during her teenage years. She enjoyed sports, especially volleyball, and often described herself as a tomboy. Creative expression, however, remained close to her heart, as she dabbled in writing poetry and kept journals, hinting at a reflective inner world not always visible to others. Her environment may have been far from the glitz of Hollywood, but it fostered a grounded perspective and a survivor's instinct that would define her future career. A pivotal moment occurred in 1989 when Pamela, then 22, was attending a Canadian football game in Vancouver. She was accidentally captured on the stadium's jumbotron wearing a Labatt's beer t-shirt, which instantly electrified the crowd. The beer company capitalized on her sudden visibility and offered her a modeling contract. That moment catapulted Pamela into the public eye and served as the first true spark of her career in entertainment. Later that same year, Pamela moved to Los Angeles and was soon featured as the Playmate of the Month in Playboy magazine's February 1990 issue. Her connection with Playboy would go on to be one of the most formative professional relationships of her early life, opening doors to acting, modeling, and celebrity culture. Hugh Hefner became a key mentor figure, and the environment, though controversial, provided her with both a platform and a form of empowerment that Pamela would later explore and critique in her memoirs and documentaries. Though her path to fame was unconventional, Pamela's early life laid the emotional and psychological groundwork for a woman who would come to represent a paradoxical blend of sex symbol, activist, and survivor. From the tranquil shores of Vancouver Island to the pages of international magazines, Pamela's journey was marked by moments of chance, strength, and a persistent drive to reinvent herself on her own terms. Career and success. Pamela Anderson's serendipitous discovery at a football game was only the beginning of a whirlwind ascent that would make her one of the most recognizable faces of the 1990s. Her association with Playboy extended over 2 decades and included more cover appearances than any other model in the magazine's history. While many might have remained typecast in the pages of glossy magazines, Pamela used the opportunity as a springboard into television and film. Her career-defining moment came in 1992 when she joined the cast of Baywatch as lifeguard C.J. Parker. The role, originally meant to be minor, turned into a global phenomenon thanks to Pamela's magnetic on-screen presence. Baywatch became one of the most watched television shows in the world, airing in over 140 countries and reaching more than 1 billion viewers weekly at its peak. Anderson's slow-motion beach runs in a red swimsuit became an enduring cultural image, and she was swiftly catapulted into international stardom. During the height of her Baywatch fame, Pamela leveraged her visibility to explore various creative and professional avenues. She starred in the action comedy VIP, 1998 to 2002, playing a fictionalized version of herself in a show that further highlighted her comedic timing and self-parody. The series gained a cult following and cemented her status as more than just a beachside beauty. She was an entertainer with range and humor. Pamela also ventured into film with roles in Barbed Wire, 1996, Raw Justice, 1994, and various cameo appearances, often playing heightened versions of her public persona. Though not always critically acclaimed, these roles demonstrated her awareness of celebrity culture and her ability to play within and against type. She collaborated with various industry figures, including working with creators like David Hasselhoff and appearing in sketch comedies like MAD-TV and Saturday Night Live, where she embraced parody and leaned into her image with confidence. Despite the intense scrutiny and tabloid attention that followed her personal life, Pamela remained a consistent figure in entertainment. She made numerous appearances on reality shows, authored books, including 2 autobiographies, and remained a media fixture. Over time, she began to reclaim and reframe her narrative, choosing to speak candidly about the ways fame, objectification, and vulnerability intersected in her journey. Her 2023 Netflix documentary, Pamela, A Love Story, marked a powerful turning point. A raw, unfiltered recounting of her life told entirely from her perspective. It earned widespread critical praise for its honesty and vulnerability, and introduced her to a new generation as a survivor and storyteller, not just a symbol. Anderson's impact on pop culture is enduring. She redefined the modern pinup, became an emblem of 1990s celebrity, and has remained a subject of fascination for over 3 decades. From lifeguard to legend, Pamela Anderson's career trajectory showcases a woman who consistently defied expectations. While often underestimated, she proved herself as a savvy performer, a cultural icon, and a resilient voice in an industry known for its fleeting affections. Today, she is celebrated not just for her unforgettable roles and unmistakable look, but for her strength, self-reclamation, and lasting influence on the entertainment landscape. Income and wealth. Pamela Anderson's financial journey reflects her evolution from small-town Canadian model to global icon, actress, and activist. With an estimated net worth ranging from $20 million to $25 million, according to various celebrity finance outlets, Pamela has earned her wealth through a mix of high-profile television roles, modeling contracts, brand endorsements, and savvy media deals. A significant portion of Pamela's early earnings came from her breakout role on Baywatch, the globally syndicated series that defined 1990s television. While she reportedly earned a relatively modest $1,500 per episode in her first season, her salary increased dramatically as the show exploded in popularity. At the peak of her Baywatch fame, Pamela was said to be earning upwards of $300,000 per episode, making her one of the highest-paid actresses on TV at the time. With the show airing in over 140 countries and reaching massive international audiences, syndication deals and royalties added significantly to her long-term income. Of course, Pamela's decades-long relationship with Playboy played a major role in her income stream. She holds the record for the most Playboy cover appearances in history and has earned millions from her association with the brand, which included photo shoots, licensing opportunities, and personal branding. She also starred in and licensed multiple home video releases under the Playboy banner. Beyond entertainment, Pamela has leveraged her global fame into endorsement deals and brand collaborations, including fashion lines, lingerie collections, skincare partnerships, and fragrance ventures. Her iconic status has made her an enduring figure in pop culture, allowing her to monetize her image well beyond her acting work. While she may not command the corporate media empire of some contemporaries, Pamela has shown consistent business savvy, particularly in controlling her narrative and image in recent years. Her financial strategy has focused on long-term brand value, and she continues to generate income through licensing, media appearances, speaking engagements, and activism work, many of which are compensated at a premium due to her iconic status. Life and lifestyle. While Pamela Anderson's financial success and pop culture reign are well documented, it is her personal lifestyle, rooted in self-discovery, compassion, and quiet rebellion that reveals the most about who she truly is. In recent years, Pamela has embraced a more minimalist and introspective lifestyle, moving back to her grandmother's former home on Vancouver Island in British Columbia. Nestled near the ocean, the rustic property serves as both sanctuary and symbol, a return to simplicity after decades of spectacle. There, she gardens, writes, and surrounds herself with nature, often posting about her daily connection with the land and the sea. This return to her roots has shaped a quieter rhythm of life that starkly contrasts her high glamour past and reflects her deep desire for peace and self-reliance. Pamela is known for her lifelong advocacy for animals and environmental causes, passions that go far beyond celebrity endorsements. She has been one of PETA's most active and vocal supporters, often fronting bold campaigns to promote veganism, anti-fur fashion, and cruelty-free living. Her activism is uncompromising and hands-on. She's visited slaughterhouses, met with government officials, and even delivered aid to disaster-stricken areas. Her humanitarian work also extends to supporting organizations that fight for human rights, indigenous sovereignty, and clean water access. These causes are not trends for Pamela, they are deeply personal missions, and she often uses her voice to raise awareness, even when doing so invites controversy. Despite being viewed for years through the lens of glamour, Pamela's true lifestyle is refreshingly unfiltered and artistic. She's an avid reader and writer, filling journals with poetry, sketches, and reflections. Her 2023 memoir, Love, Pamela, offered a raw and lyrical glimpse into her inner world, filled with vulnerability and emotional depth. She has also expressed interest in theater, fashion design, and home restoration, often drawing inspiration from French cinema, classic literature, and bohemian aesthetics. Pamela's personal style has undergone a marked transformation in recent years. While she once epitomized the hyper-feminine, high-gloss look of the 90s, today she favors clean lines, vintage pieces, and bare-faced beauty. Her bold decision to appear without makeup in her Netflix documentary and at Paris Fashion Week events was met with praise, positioning her as a new kind of style icon, one who values substance over spectacle. This shift is more than aesthetic. It represents a shedding of the persona the public crafted for her, and an embrace of the woman she has chosen to become. Of course, Pamela's journey hasn't been without its hardships. Her life has been the subject of tabloid frenzy, from high-profile relationships and leaked private videos to legal battles and health scares. Rather than being defeated by these traumas, Pamela has used them as fuel for personal growth. She has spoken candidly about surviving abuse, reclaiming her story, and learning to set boundaries, emerging with a stronger sense of self and purpose. Her openness about mental health, trauma, and healing has resonated with fans who see in her not just a symbol, but a survivor. Today, Pamela Anderson lives a life defined by integrity, reflection, and quiet impact. Whether she's writing poetry by the sea, rescuing animals, or standing on the front lines of environmental protests, she lives with intention. Her lifestyle, once shaped by external perception, is now guided entirely by internal values, and in many ways, it's her most powerful statement yet. As she continues to evolve, Pamela Anderson's legacy expands beyond beauty and fame to include activism, resilience, and radical authenticity. Personal relationships. Pamela Anderson's life story has long unfolded in the public eye, shaped as much by her headline-making romances as by her resilience and depth of character. Her personal relationships, turbulent, passionate, and at times painfully public, offer a window into a woman unafraid to seek connection, even in the face of repeated heartbreak. Pamela's early personal life was famously entwined with Tommy Lee, the Motley Crue drummer she married in 1995 after a whirlwind 4-day courtship. Their relationship was as fiery as it was iconic, producing 2 sons, Brandon Thomas Lee and Dylan Jagger Lee, and a legacy of intense public fascination. Though the marriage ended in divorce after a series of legal and emotional upheavals, Pamela has consistently expressed that the connection they shared was profound and formative. The bond with her sons remains central in her life, She often credits them with keeping her grounded and giving her purpose beyond fame. Both Brandon and Dylan have grown into successful creatives in their own right, and Pamela continues to champion their work with pride and affection. Following her divorce from Lee, Pamela entered a string of high-profile marriages and romances, including unions with Kid Rock, Rick Salomon, whom she married twice, John Peters, and Dan Hayhurst. These relationships varied in duration and intensity, some lasting only months, others lingering in the headlines for years. Despite the media frenzy surrounding her love life, Pamela has always approached romance with sincerity. She's described herself as a hopeful romantic, someone who values vulnerability and connection over convention. Each chapter, however brief, added to her emotional journey and pushed her toward greater self-awareness. But in recent months, Pamela has found herself in the midst of a surprising new love story, one that has captured the imagination of fans around the globe. While working together on the upcoming Naked Gun reboot, Pamela and acclaimed actor Liam Neeson developed a quiet friendship that, according to close sources, quickly deepened into something more. The two were spotted together at a series of promotional events, their easy chemistry and affectionate gestures sparking rumors of a romance. Though initially private, their connection has since come into the open, with insiders confirming that the pair are now in a committed relationship and, remarkably, even engaged. Unlike many of her past relationships, this one appears to be grounded in mutual respect, shared values, and a calm maturity. Pamela has described Liam as kind, soulful, and deeply funny, while Neeson, typically reserved about his private life, has praised Pamela's honesty and compassion. Their bond has grown quietly, away from the paparazzi frenzy of earlier eras, and seems to reflect a new chapter of emotional clarity for both. Friends of the couple note that they bring out a gentler, more centered side in each other, one marked by laughter, mutual admiration, and a shared desire for peace after lives spent in the spotlight. The engagement, while not yet formally confirmed by either, has been widely reported and warmly received by their inner circles. Even Jolie Richardson, sister of Neeson's late wife Natasha, was seen expressing public support by reacting with heart emojis to their red carpet photos, a subtle but touching sign of blessing. Pamela's sons are also said to be supportive of the relationship, seeing in Neeson a stabilizing presence and a respectful partner to their mother. Beyond romance, Pamela remains deeply connected to her mother, Carol, and the tranquil environment of her family's home on Vancouver Island, where she now spends most of her time. There, far from Hollywood's chaos, she writes, gardens, and surrounds herself with nature. It's a life of intentional simplicity, one that reflects her emotional evolution and the kind of love she now invites into her world. Pamela also maintains lasting friendships with figures from her advocacy work, particularly those involved in animal rights and environmental causes. Though she once moved through celebrity circles thick with cameras and headlines, today her connections are quieter, more selective, and rooted in authenticity. Ultimately, Pamela Anderson's relationships reflect the heart of who she is. A woman shaped by love and loss, fearless in pursuit of connection, and always evolving. Her new chapter with Liam Neeson feels less like a return to the spotlight and more like a personal victory, a symbol of renewal, grace, and the enduring belief that love can bloom at any stage of life. As with every major moment in her journey, Pamela meets it with openness, sincerity, and the courage to write her own narrative. Real estate. From sun-drenched celebrity beaches to a tranquil Canadian sanctuary, Pamela Anderson's real estate journey is as much a story of self-discovery as it is of property investment, and each home she's chosen tells a chapter of her evolution. Pamela's most iconic property was her Malibu Colony Beach House, which she bought in 2000 for approximately $2 million and spent more than 2 decades calling home. Thoughtfully redesigned by architect Philip Vertoch, the 5,500-square-foot contemporary retreat featured sustainably sourced teak paneling, wood floors, and an indoor-outdoor design tailored for relaxed coastal living. The estate included 4 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, a guest house, rooftop deck, pool, hot tub, vegetable garden, fire pit, and exclusive beach access. Originally listed for $15 million in early 2021, Pamela ultimately sold it later that year for $12 million, netting a substantial return. But the sale wasn't just a financial move. It marked Pamela's intentional return to her roots. She relocated to her family's property in Ladysmith on Vancouver Island, a home steeped in personal history. The estate, known as Arcady, spans approximately 6 to 7 acres and includes historic structures like the boathouse, roadhouse, and cabin, all parts of her grandparents' former holiday village. Over recent years, Pamela has embarked on an ambitious and emotionally resonant renovation project there. She preserved the heritage charm, such as antique cabins, while bringing in romantic, eco-conscious touches. Whimsical gardens, a greenhouse, a functional pier extending into the water, and gathering spaces filled with natural light and vintage furnishings. The century-old farmhouse where she now lives with her sons and several dogs is more than a house. It's a creative and spiritual retreat with family heirlooms, rustic kitchens, and a rose garden that doubles as a local community pantry. In essence, Pamela's real estate path mirrors her own transformation, from Malibu glamour to grounded simplicity. The Malibu home represented the height of her public persona, built and curated amidst fame. In contrast, Arcady embodies her current priorities: reconnection with heritage, nature, and authenticity. As she embarks on this new chapter, both personally with her deeply meaningful relationship with Liam Neeson and artistically, her current home stands as a living testament to her journey toward peace, purpose, and creative renewal. Cars and vehicles. Just as Pamela Anderson's homes reflect her journey from global fame to grounded simplicity, her relationship with cars tells a parallel story, one that begins with modest independence and evolves into expressive, eco-conscious luxury. In her early days, long before Baywatch turned her into an international icon, Pamela drove a humble Toyota Corolla, a practical choice that mirrored her then unassuming lifestyle. Raised in British Columbia, she often speaks fondly of driving through winding island roads and learning the ropes of vehicle maintenance from her father. That first car, though basic, offered her freedom at a time when she was just discovering herself beyond the small town she grew up in. As fame and fortune followed, so did more eye-catching vehicles. Pamela became known in the late 1990s and early 2000s for her love of convertibles, often photographed cruising the Pacific Coast Highway in a white Jaguar XK8 or a classic Ford Thunderbird, her blonde hair flowing in the wind, an image that became as iconic as her red swimsuit. These cars weren't just transportation. They were extensions of her glamorous persona. Over the years, she expanded her collection to include luxury SUVs like the Range Rover Sport and Mercedes-Benz G-Class, balancing off-road capability with Hollywood flair. However, in a move that echoed her growing commitment to sustainability, Pamela made a notable shift toward electric and hybrid vehicles, including a Tesla Model S, which she's driven for both everyday use and appearances at eco-activism events. In 2022, she auctioned off one of her most recognizable vehicles, a custom 2007 Dodge Viper painted in Baywatch red. The auction raised funds for her animal rights work, demonstrating how even her cars have become tools for advocacy and philanthropy. When traveling internationally for advocacy or film projects, she occasionally flies private, but more often opts for commercial or chartered eco-conscious travel, further aligning her mobility with her environmental values. Current lifestyle. In 2025, Pamela Anderson stands at the forefront of a remarkable professional revival, one that balances daring new roles with deeply personal projects and enduring advocacy. Her much-celebrated performance in The Last Showgirl continues to resonate. Premiering in late 2024 and expanding in early 2025, the film earned widespread critical praise and sparked significant awards buzz, including Golden Globe and SAG nominations for Best Actress. Anderson described the role as deeply cathartic and revelatory, a creative turning point after years of being unfairly typecast. Building on this momentum, she has taken on a trio of compelling new film projects. She appears in the highly anticipated Naked Gun reboot, an irreverent comedy in which she plays femme fatale Beth Davenport, opposite Liam Neeson's Frank Drebin Jr. Premiered mid-2025, the film has already generated buzz for bringing Anderson's comedic talent back into the spotlight. Simultaneously, Pamela is starring in Rosebush Pruning, a dramatic thriller directed by Kareem Ainous. Anderson takes on the role of the mother in a star-studded cast featuring Elle Fanning, Riley Keough, Callum Turner, and Jamie Bell. The film, which wrapped production in Spain in late 2024, signals her deepening engagement with challenging and artful material. Adding yet another dimension to her 2025 slate, Anderson is part of Place to Be, an emotional road trip drama directed by Cornel Mundruço. Filmed in Australia, she shares the screen with Ellen Burstyn, Taika Waititi, and Lena Wythe in a story that intertwines introspective storytelling with sun-soaked landscapes. Off-screen, Pamela remains equally vibrant and purposeful. Her plant-based cooking show, Pamela's Cooking with Love, debuted on Canada's Flavour Network in early 2025 and has quickly become a platform for her environmental and wellness advocacy. Supporting the series, her cookbook I Love You, Recipes from the Heart, earned a 2025 James Beard Award nomination for its beautiful photography and heartfelt recipes. In 2025, Pamela Anderson is redefining relevance. Her daring choices across dramatic and comedic genres, on camera and in the kitchen, showcase a woman in full bloom, reconnecting with her authentic self, crafting meaningful work, and continuing to inspire both longtime fans and new generations. That brings us to the end of this story. If you enjoyed it, don't miss the other celebrity journeys waiting for you on screen. Thanks so much for watching.